If you're talking to your computer, that's kind of weird. I'm fine, thank you for asking. Answering a computer when I can't hear you is also weird. Well, today we're going to talk about randomization in game development. If you've hung around me at all and heard me talking about video games, one of the things I like to talk about is games that play back. And what I mean by that is having a game where you, the creator, don't exactly know what's going to happen next because you add in some randomization. And that's a great way to keep it fun for you and also to keep it fun for the players. You could have enemies behave in a random way. You could have their bullets kind of have a little bit of vector so you don't know exactly where they're going, or yours. I've got a game where you go to these bonus chests where you fought your way over to them, and if you've played it before, you know it's there. It might not be there. They might delete themselves. So that's kind of fun, huh? You don't know what's going to happen. It could jump to another spot. Let's do this thing. I've got it drawing some text. It's not that big of a deal. It just draws X, Y, my text. And the text I want to set up is going to be random. So let's do it. My text equals, and if you don't write code, I'm going to do some drag and drop stuff, so don't worry about it, and I'll explain this too. My text equals random underscore range, and we'll do 0 to 100. And that means it's going to do anywhere between those two. Let's go ahead and hit play. And I've got an R key to where it can restart the room. I mapped it so we can keep doing that. I'll hit R so we can get another result. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Now imagine if that was like when an enemy was created, how fast it goes, or how much health it had, or how many units of ammunition it had. You could add a whole lot of randomness to where you don't know what's coming up next. You could even have pieces of your room randomly created out of a list. Let's take a look at that. Code that I wrote here. It says random range 0 to 100. Well, you notice it was doing decimal points to 2 decimal points. If we wanted to write it to a whole number, we want an integer. And what you use instead is random range. That's a good one to use, and I use that one a lot because you often want to have a whole number. So let's go ahead and run that. Boom, 21. 73, 39, 100. Now you'll notice here I'm not going to go through everything, just FYI. I'm going to go through some of the top ways to do randomization, a few examples, so that you can get out there and use it on your own. What else can we do for randomization? So we looked at random range and random range. Here's another one. The code for that is called choose. And in order to put that into action, I'm going to use this little flower object over here. And let's do some drag and drop. We're going to throw some flowers out here. Boom. I'll throw a bunch of flowers out here, and I'll move that number down there. The flower has got several sub-images to it. 0 through 4 are the sub-images, so on create, let's have it change which sprite it's going to use. It's going to change to its own sprite, and a sub-image. Again, even if you're doing drag and drop, you wind up writing some code, so I encourage you to go ahead and learn some code. We're going to write choose. Choose what? Parenthesis, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Close parenthesis, speed. In this case, we want speed set to 0 because otherwise our flowers will go disco on us. Boom, look at that. I'm going to hit R to restart the room, and you'll see that the flower colors will change. Of course, that random number is still going. Nice, nice. Isn't that great? What else can we do with randomization? Well, we could be picking out from a series of possible character names. We could be picking out from some possible loot drops from an enemy. We could have a random roll of the dice as to whether he spawns another one. How would we do that? How would we do that? Let's go ahead and we're going to write some code over from the control. Grab this little code block. And I'm going to write if random underscore range between 0 and 5 is greater than 2. What's that mean? If it turns out 0 than 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Greater than 2 is 3, 4, 5. So if you roll 3, 4, 5, do the next part. Instance create x, y plus, we'll offset it to 64. And it'll make another flower. Interestingly enough, when the next flower is created, it also has a random chance to roll 3, 4, or 5. Let's see what happens. It should, and let's throw some more flowers in here. Oh, we've already got enough. Let's put them in a line then, because they're putting themselves to y plus 64. That means 64 pixels below where you are at right now, y plus 64. We should get some rows of flowers. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. I'll keep randomizing it here. Pretty fun, pretty fun, pretty fun. What else can we do with this same thing? Well, we could have those flowers, when they're created, offset themselves. Let's do this. We could either have it created in a random place, or when it creates. Let's do it on create. How about that? The y value of where you start out plus equals. We'll do random. We could do irandom. It doesn't matter, actually. Random range, it'll be 5.23 pixels, you know, offset. So we'll do negative 128 between 128. So it'll either move 128 pixels to the left or to the right, or anywhere in between. On an x value and on a y value. Y is up and down, x's are left and right, so it'll move anywhere to the left and right, up and down on create, and it might make some others to do the same thing. We should get some good randomization here. A little bit more organic. There we go. Isn't that fun? Now imagine you were doing it for something a little bit more exciting, you know. So their speed could be randomized where they're moving, so we could have moving flowers. This would be useful if you want to create a room and have some variation within it. You don't want to have to go in there and do it. These flowers just organically paper themselves all over the place. You could have trees doing the same thing. So we've got random range, irandom range, we've got choose. And the other thing I want to point out to you real fast before I let you go, on game start I have a little snippet of code which is randomize open close parenthesis. The reason is because GameMaker will choose what it's called a random seed. So if you were to start the game without this, it's going to pick out some random event, but every time you start the game, it'd be the same random event. This drove me nuts for a while. When I had the game trying to create a random room, and it would create the same random room. And I'd say, what in the world? I'd do it again and again. It'd create the same random room in order, one room after the next. So it would pick the same number again and again. If you put this code, randomize parenthesis, it asks it to roll the dice and randomize the entire deck right here at the game start. So theoretically, we would not get the same sequence. So we wind up with 21, 36, 86, 46. Watch this not work. I'm doing a live broadcast. 21, 67, 62, 36, 22. It's different this time. What's really weird is a lot of times you wind up with the same first number, though. Isn't that weird? 21, see? 18, 63, 95. Freaky deaky. If you have that problem on game start, you could have it restart itself when a room is created, recreate itself once, if that's really a problem for you. But most of the time it's fine. Okay, anybody got questions? Leave them in the comments. If this helped you out, give me a thumbs up. I usually don't go fishing for subscribers or anything like that, but I just hope I'm able to help you out. And game on. You guys have a good one.